This is my understanding of the passage in question, and we're not going to exhaust our discussion tonight. We'll actually probably draw our study to a close on this paragraph right here. But this is what's at stake in the discussion of the Filioque debate. If the Greek Orthodox are going to say, the Eastern Orthodox are going to say, if you now Roman Catholic leaders, right? But at the time, I don't know if they were calling themselves Roman Catholic. But if you are going to say that the Son can send the Spirit in origin fashion, then are you saying that Yeshua is God? Well, yes, we are, but no, we're not saying that he's the source of everything. We're going to find out, as in my quote from my response from Roman Catholicism, that they don't really want to convey the idea that Yeshua is the source, the arche of all things. They're still going to give that title back to God the Father, so that when Yeshua talks about that I am sent from the Father, that I go under the authority of my Father's command, that I only live to do the will of my Father, etc., etc. We have this kind of the subordinate role that the Son plays in regards to the Father. All of that makes sense within the Trinity model that we're discussing here, right? The social Trinitarianism and things like that. All of that makes sense if we understand that Yeshua doesn't have the right to say that I'm the source of everything. Otherwise, if Yeshua is the true source, right, the source of everything in this discussion, then why is he sending himself? Why doesn't he say, I only live to do the will of myself, right? Or it's not my will, but my will be done, right? So the whole subordination conversations that Yeshua has, where he's referring everything back to the Father, wouldn't make much sense if Yeshua was really the source of everything. If really it's just like the Oneness Pentecostals teach, that Jesus is the one true God, and that the name of the one true God is Jesus, and that basically the modalistic perspective that they hold to, where it's one God wearing three different disguises, his one true name is Jesus. In that aspect, then yeah, Jesus is the source of everything, and there is no really true Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Those are just descriptions of hats that this one God named Jesus swaps out and wears, and so in that sense, to them, sending the Holy Spirit's no problem, because you're really just sending yourself. And so it gets really kind of philosophically confusing at times, but I hope that this part of my discussion isn't too confusing. I'll kind of tip my hand to you right up front before I leave. I'm of the persuasion that if we just let the Bible speak for itself in its plain language, that there's enough information here for us to walk away with an understanding that's not confusing. And it's basically the black bolded part that I read earlier. Yeshua can speak of sending the Holy Spirit because the Father gives him that authority without trying to define the source and origin of the creation of the Holy Spirit, proceeding from the Father. Yeshua can say that, yes, I send the Holy Spirit, but the procession is from the Father. Meaning, at the same time, Yeshua is speaking of his own authority granted from the Father, right? I send the Holy Spirit. And yet, at the same time, he defers back to the Father as that source, being the one from whom the Holy Spirit proceeds. I think the verse is self-explanatory, but why couldn't the church leaders of the East and the West see it that way? We'll begin to unpack that next week and as we go along. But that'll do it for Exploring the Shema, discussions on the issues of Trinity.